Hi guys, welcome back. You're listening to the Home Staging Show podcast, and this is season 2, episode 3. Hey guys, welcome back. Today's episode is sponsored by EcoJo, the eco-friendly St. Joseph statue home selling kit. In real estate, there's a tradition to pray and bury St. Joseph statue in your yard for good luck in selling your home. And we had designed and made an eco-friendly one that is made with 100% clay. You can find our EcoJo products in our shop at www.stagedformore.com or www.ecojokits.com. If you're a home stager or home design professional listening to today's show, don't forget the registration for our November Napa Valley retreat is closing. You can find more information on our website as well. Just go to www.stagedformore.com, STAGED number 4 MORE.com/ASR 2015. Hi guys, on today's show, this is a little bit of a sensitive topic, especially has to do with a lot of new home stagers coming into the market, since now the real estate market is on the rise and it's doing really hot. But I feel like this is really important. It's something that needs to be addressed, especially for those of you who are homeowners who are listening to the show. As you know, I'm very passionate about and I feel very strongly about this industry moving forward in a very positive direction. And I also don't want to discourage any new stagers who are listening to the show because we all have to get started somewhere. But I feel like from my personal experience recently, some of the ways people are going about it can be a little bit can be actually very detrimental to our industry and hurtful to our consumers who are the homeowners and real estate agents. And I really want to talk about it so we can avoid um, having these situations where we develop a bad reputation or people don't take us seriously as an industry. I think it is a problem when new stagers coming into the industry and have zero training. I don't feel, you necessarily have to go get expensive home staging trainings or get, like ASP, like accredited staging professionals or certified staging professionals, CSP, or whatever alphabet soup you want to get behind your name. Because I know there are a lot of really beautiful stagers and really great creatives that they're completely self-taught, where they have similar background or they're interior designers entering into the industry. But not having a business sense or a strong sense of ethics and business practice, it is a problem. It is not only a problem for other stagers who are working in your area, it can also be a huge one for homeowners. And this is why I want to take this opportunity to talk about this on today's podcast. I've been in business for almost a decade now, as you know, and I've seen a lot of stagers coming and going. I've seen a lot of people price themselves out of the business by undercutting pricing and offer poor quality staging simply because they're not getting paid enough to cover the expenses. And I understand that mentality because these new stagers are eager, they want to get new projects, and the only way to grow their portfolio was to undercut other professional stagers in their market. But it's a very unhealthy business practice because when you're undercutting other people, you're taking projects away from other experienced stagers who may not be able to sustain their business long term, or you are undercutting yourself and devaluing your expertise or whatever you bring to the table. And a lot of times, I understand it completely because as a service provider and someone who hires service providers, I understand both sides of the coin. I have also seen other professionals, like cleaner, for example, this happens a lot, where they will offer staging service for an additional $200 to $300 to stage an entire 3-bedroom house. I've heard it. I've heard other stagers who have heard it. I mean, And the homeowners think they're getting a great deal because a lot of times homeowners just think that, oh, like, I'm hire a stager, I hire someone to stage a house, and that's it. That's all we need to do. And they're judging the quality of staging by the pricing instead of the actual quality and what they're getting. So for $200, $300, they're just getting a few potted plants or a few vases on the countertop in the kitchen. And that is not enough, as we know. So it is important to have this type of conversation for both homeowners and new stagers to hear. And I also don't, I'm very direct, as you know, and I'm very open and honest about my profession. So I encourage, if you have anything you want to talk about, you can feel free to bring it on the show notes or in our private Facebook group that you have access to. Just by searching the Home Staging Show in Facebook, and then you can join our Facebook group. So the reason I want to talk about this is because I get emails all the time from people who are getting into the industry and asking for advice, which is great and fine. I'm all about paying it forward and trying to help a new stager as much as I can. Because I was once new in the industry too, but I'm getting a lot of inquiries from people who are looking for a quick, not like get rich kind of scheme, but like a quick return for doing basically nothing. They want to enter into industry without learning how to run a business properly or how to stage homes properly. And they just want a shortcut and free information without investing in their business. And sometimes these encounters feel a bit like a hit and run because I would spend time that I could be doing work or hanging out with my own family. Instead, I'm answering these emails or writing a blog about the topic, and people don't even say thank you. So I do get a little bit worried for the clients that these people are going to be working with. This is something I personally experienced, and some of them have been a bit unpleasant, actually. And I'm also not alone in it as well, because I do talk to stagers around the country regularly in our private groups, and other senior stagers have expressed similar concerns. So they have experiences as well. So I know I'm not alone in this. I've also worked with homeowners who have been burned by unethical stagers, which really turn them off and against the idea of staging. And that is really heartbreaking to see because the homeowners really need to stage their house. I still remember, like, this is when I first starting out. The real estate agent already warned me about the homeowner. He was very upset the moment I called. Like, he cussed. He was very upset. He raised his voice. He would just like F this and F that because he had a really bad experience with staging and he didn't want to do it again. And I've seen photo of his listing photos. I mean, he really could use some of the advice like I could given him, but he just was not hearing it at all. And it's very, very upsetting and heartbreaking to see. Because while I understand not everybody can hire a home stager or wants to hire a home stager, but they can benefit so much from the act of home staging. So as a professional, I really want people to take advantage of it, whether they hire me or not. So it really upsets me and makes me upset or make me just, I don't know, I hate to keep using the word heartbreaking, but that's really how I feel about it. I do want people to take advantage of it because I know it works. So on today's show, I'm going to talk about how to vet a home stager and questions to ask to make sure you hire someone who's legitimate and will do a great job for you. So first of all, how do you find a home stager? You can ask your real estate agent, who may have someone they work with regularly or they have found online or by asking around in their office. You can also find them yourself, usually by Googling or checking Yelp or social networks like Houzz, Houzz. Before you meet them, you can usually get a good gauge of their style and the way they conduct their businesses on their websites. You can also check out their portfolio and get a sense of what type of homes they usually work with, what kind of staging that they do, and it is important that you hire a stager that will be able to deliver the lifestyle your target buyers want to buy into. Like I said over and over again on the blog and the podcast and even our home staging course now, staging is about creating a lifestyle that buyers want and not necessarily what you personally like. So it is important to have that awareness. You may also know someone in your social circle who does staging here and there and will do it cheap for you. I hear this all the time. I still remember once I was depositing a check at the bank. The bank teller told me, "Oh yeah, I occasionally stage people's house and it's really fun." So you want to keep in mind that you need someone who's really going to accentuate the positive of your home and know how to troubleshoot the problem area in your house. So someone who really would work and will really know how to make your house shine to help your sell. So I don't want you to leave the money on the table just because you want to save a few bucks. So choose the most qualified person for the job that you think will be able to target your home buyers. The ideal stager for you will be someone who's experienced, knows your market, and can answer all your questions, addresses your concerns, and acts in an ethical manner, and know how to run the business. So here are a few questions for you to vet potential home stagers you're hiring. First of all, how many projects have you worked on? Are those projects done by you as a lead or while you're assisting a stager? This last question is important. I think most home stagers don't really think about that, but this is kind of a bit of a gray area from my experiences working as a stager, having assisted, senior stylists on photo shoots. I know a lot of stagers and stylists would let their assistants use the work that they assisted on as part of their portfolio. But some people are not okay with that. Some people criticize that's an ego thing, but I really think it's actually doing a disservice to the consumer. I used to let my assistants use my photos as part of their portfolio for them to get styling work. But I no longer do that because there are a lot of gray areas here. First of all, someone who sees those photos without explanations or captions, they will automatically assume that the whole thing is done by the assistant who are showing this as part of their portfolio. It can be very misleading for the consumers. My assistants, when they are on site, the majority of their job is to clean, to steam the bedspreads, and to make the beds, and pack out, and help to load the van. They don't really participate in any styling decisions. So for them to use their photos as part of their portfolio, like they have styled it, it can be really misleading for their new clients, potential new clients. Second of all, I've been burned by unethical assistants, so I stopped letting my assistants use any of the photos they have assisted on. I once had an assistant who worked for me for 5 months. I actually had to let her go because she worked for a client of mine behind my back and then got really drunk at a client's party where the client had to call for a ride for her. So obviously I had to fire her. But then 6 months later, I got a call from a friend of mine and said, "Hey, you should really check out her website." So I went on her website, I saw my own portfolio photos with my watermarks cropped off, copy and pasted onto her website, and the description of her involvement on those projects were like, she was a stylist on the job, blah, 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 blah. And that was a very eye-opening experience for me. And on her LinkedIn profile, which I also checked, she gave herself a raise basically and said she was a stylist and a home stager while working at our company. For someone who never worked with her and are in the process of hiring, they will automatically assume that she had done those work, and she really is someone who said she was. So that's very misleading, and it also actually reflects badly upon my company because it will be like, oh my gosh, she worked as a stylist at Stage for More, and this is the work that she ended up producing. So yeah, it is alarming, and that's why I don't let my assistant use my photos anymore. And for anyone who's been on projects, on job sites, they can easily talk a really good game and tell you what they did and what they didn't do, and why they did it, and what's their design decision, even when they're just assisting someone. So you want to ask very specific questions to try and see if their stories match up to what they're saying and what they're telling you. Or if something strikes you as kind of odd, like when you look at their portfolio photos and they're all in weird shapes, not the regular 4x6 photo formats, chances are they had copy and pasted someone else's work and claimed it as their own, like what my former assistant had done to me. So unfortunately, this happened more often than we like to see. I also had this happen where a new stager who had gone through one of these major home staging training schools, when I copied my entire website's color scheme, my business name, and my tagline word for word. So sometimes by just looking at people's website and portfolio is not enough. That's why you want to ask questions. Second, you also want to ask questions about their business practice, like how do they charge, what kind of pricing package they offer, and how do they bill, etc. My staging company is very transparent about our business practice. I actually put it all on our website. It is in our proposal as well. There's no reason not to be transparent about our business practice. I want my client to be 100% of what we do. I even put our company policy and like what we use to process our credit card payments on our website. When someone has been in the business for a while, they should know what their numbers are. It is their livelihood. They should know it like the back of their hands. They may not be able to give you a specific number, like how much it's going to cost to stage your house right on the spot. Like me, I can't do it. Like, unlike most stereotypes, I actually can't do math that well on the spot or in my head. So, but at least they should be able to tell you roughly a ballpark for pricing or how long it will take to stage your property, etc. 3. What neighborhood do you primarily work in? Have you done a project like my house before? Can I see some of your sample photos on these projects? I'm a firm believer of niche selling, especially in real estate. I have never met or seen a top producer who does everything under the sun. They always specialize in something, usually a specific neighborhood or a price point like a luxury market. Once they have developed teams, then they will take on a wide range of projects because they can delegate to other team members who specialize in those specific niche. I am the stager who specializes in staging houses or starter homes under 2,400 square feet. While I can certainly do big projects like 5,000 square feet houses, which I've done, it will be a little bit more expensive for me to take on those projects because I need more lead time to get the right inventory for you, since I personally do not stock those bigger furniture. So that's why I really believe in people who do their businesses in specific niches, because if they're expert in a niche, why not hire them, right? Because they know what they're doing. Number 4, what is included in your pricing package? Can you tell me a little bit more about the way you stage houses? I am very strong believer that as a business owner, when a new potential client questions you about your business practice and how you price your package, you should be able to stand behind your pricing decision and prove that you're not just making these numbers up in your head or slap it on the proposal. I had actually blogged about this on my home staging blog. Generally, it takes about 75 hours per project for an average 2 to 3 bedroom house in San Francisco Bay Area, give or take 5 to 10 hours. So if the client comes back from the proposal wanting to shave off prices, I can come back and tell them either that we can change some of the proposal items, like the planned furniture pieces, or downgrade them, or we just can't do it at all because blah and blah reason. It is the same with my design decisions. I have done, after staging tours with my clients, and they ask specific questions about, oh, why didn't you put a rug here? Why did you put a rug there? Or why did you put this thing here? Why did you put this thing there? Or what's your color scheme? Third, I can always tell them right off the bat without hesitation why I did what. And why did I do this here? Why do I use this specific color scheme in the home? I can always back up my decision because I'm a professional, I have experience, and this is why I did X, Y, and Z. So that's why I believe that you should ask these type of questions to see if this is the right professional for you. Number 5, do you work full-time or part-time as a home stager? I know this is a little bit sensitive a topic, especially a lot of real estate agents are being questioned this too. Recently in Seattle, there was actually an advertisement campaign that talk about the part-time real estate agent versus full-time real estate agent. I include this question because I feel that it is important to talk about how seriously someone takes their business on. I know the number of hours per week you work doesn't really matter or determine how successful you are as a business owner. But have you ever watched Shark Tank, the show on ABC that's all about business pitching, entrepreneurs? These people are pitching to people like Barbara Corcoran and Mark Cuban, all very successful business and entrepreneurs. So on a side note, they recently added Ashton Kutcher this season, which I thought was super fascinating. I never thought of Ashton Kutcher as a very strong business person, but he actually was. I watched the first episode and I was like super impressed. But anyway, they always turn down business owners who still have a day job because they simply cannot devote as much time to their business as they could if they were full time. This is not to discriminate because everyone has to start somewhere. There are definitely stagers who start as a part timer, and I'm not here to judge that decision. But when you're part timing, it is difficult to run the business full time and concentrate on your effort. I also know this because for a period of a year and a half, I was doing a lot of freelancing work on photo shoots on top of running a home staging business. And I was burning my candle on both ends. So it can be very exhausting and taxing and very distracting for your business. If I didn't have a team to support me during that time, I would not have been able to do that. So that's why I include this question, because if somebody comes to you and say they're working part-time, that's fine. Ask for their project photos and ask to see if they can take care of you just as they would be able to as a full-time stager. These are legitimate questions that you can ask them. Number 6, what kind of experiences do you have? The more experience and more education typically make better professionals. This is just the golden rule. This is not to alien newbies because I was once a newbie as well. But the longer someone has worked in the field, the more situations or ideas they will be able, the more situations or ideas they have gone through, they will be able to problem solve. Experience is an important consideration, especially if you have tricky floor plans. A good stager would know how to trouble solve this. Picking the right stager for your home is an important decision. I know it's very tempting to get 3 proposals and just pick the lowest price. You want to take in consideration the quality of the inventory, their portfolio, and the experiences that they will be able to bring you and your home buyers. It is your home's equity on the line here, so you want to make sure you're hiring the best qualified professional to sell your home. So that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and a rating on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. As usual, feel free to ask any questions on the show notes or in our private Facebook group, which you can find on Facebook by typing in the Home Staging Show. You can also find the show notes by going to our website at www.stageformore.com/podcast. So that's it. Have a wonderful week and happy staging.